Within the first 8 hours alone since coming on the Cardano mainnet, the highly anticipated VyFi DEX and Bar features have captured more than 500,000 ADA in terms of TVL, which is equivalent to about $200,000 US. What is going on, ADA Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central. My name is Fareed, and in today's video, I'm super excited to share with you guys that the official VyFi app is now live on the mainnet. Now, as many of you know, we already had access to their vaults, which allow for us to stake, but as a part of today's mainnet launch, we saw the release of the official VyFi DEX, as well as the official VyFi Bar, their farming, and their layer 2 liquidity pools. Now, if you guys want more information surrounding all of these brand new features coming, not only within the DEX space, but within the Cardano community, then make sure to check out my recent video in which I featured Stephen Ward, who's going to be the CEO of VyFinance. Again, we touched on the DEX, we touched on the bar, we touched on security, everything that you guys can think about, including their recent audit here by the Obsidian platform. That said, as a part of today's video, I want to quickly touch on all these new features and exactly how you guys in the community can begin to take advantage of them. So without taking up any more time, we're going to jump into this latest article here that was just released surrounding their platform. And so the first thing I want to touch on is going to be the DEX feature. Now, I don't believe that a DEX needs a big introduction here, so I'm not going to spend too much time. But simply put, we have the likes of MinSwap, we've got Sunday Swap, Muesli Swap, Wing Riders, and so many others. But a DEX will allow for you to swap between two Cardano native assets. So as an example, let's say I hold VyFi in my wallet and I want to swap that over for Cardano, I can do that. Or vice versa, if I hold Cardano and I want to swap for VyFi or any other Cardano native asset, which includes potentially a stable coin, I can use their DEX feature in order to be able to do that. Now, a really key feature of a DEX is going to be liquidity depth. And so if you don't understand what that is, that's basically going to be the liquidity in these pools to allow for people to come in and swap their assets. Now, that means that you can use the DEX as a swapper or a trader, or you can use a DEX as a liquidity provider. So on day one, right, given the fact that this was just released on the mainnet about 8 hours ago, you'll be able to add or remove liquidity, again, which is pretty standard within the DEX space. Now, as a liquidity provider, keep in mind that you do have impermanent loss risks, but on the upside, you can also earn from the trading fees as well as some APYs if you do provide your assets for the liquidity pool. Again, that's to facilitate trading on the platform. The next item I want to touch on is going to be the VyFi Bar, which is going to be a revenue distribution mechanism being offered by the team. Now, in order to take advantage of the bar, you're going to have to deposit your VyFi into the bar, and then you'll receive or be able to mint X VyFi in return. Now, as you hold X VyFi, they're going to be taking the revenue coming in from their lottery, which they're going to take about 10% of that. They're going to take 6% of the royalties coming in from the VyFi NFTs, and then 0.1% of all trades taking on their DEX. And they're going to be redistributing all those fees to members who hold X VyFi. So again, you can quickly stake your VyFi, mint X VyFi, and as users use the platform, you'll be distributed some of the rewards coming in to the bar. So that's going to be that. Now, keep in mind that there will also be a farm offered by providing liquidity to the ADA X VyFi pair. So if you hold X VyFi, right, not only will you get access to the rewards from the bar, you can also provide the X VyFi if you pair it with ADA into a farm in order to earn even more. Next, I want to touch on the layer 2 liquidity pools. Now, this was a brand new feature that Steven had to break down for me, given the fact that right now, a lot of platforms only deal with a single layer of liquidity pool tokens. So again, if you provide liquidity, for example, if I take ADA and VyFi and I put that into liquidity pool, I'll be provided liquidity provider tokens or liquidity pool tokens that I can then farm or lock up in order to earn additional yield. Now, the VyFi team recently introduced stakeless LP, which will allow for you to still be able to earn on your LP tokens without actually having to lock them up in a farm. So now that you don't have to lock them up in a farm, they've actually implemented a brand new feature called Layer 2 Liquidity Pools, which will allow for you to take those LP tokens that you're still earning from, again, with their stakeless LP feature, and you can actually stake that in an additional pool, which is solely for liquidity pool tokens. So I'm going to put up a graphic here kind of showing how that process works. But normally you take two tokens, again, ADA and VyFi, and once you provide liquidity into a liquidity pool, you're provided with the ADA slash VyFi LP tokens. You can now take that, pair that up with ADA, and then provide that into another liquidity pool specifically for liquidity pool tokens. Now, on the initial launch, there's going to be a total of 4 pools for their L2 LPs, which I'm going to call it for short, which include a pool for VyFi, XVyFi, World Mobile, and AADA. It continues to read, initially, only these 4 tokens will have an L2 LP pool while we monitor their behavior, and the next token pair will be promoted for an L2 LP will be decided by a community vote. So as you hold the VyFi token, that's also going to be another bit of utility that you get access to, which is going to be for governance. Next, I want to touch on their farms, which again is going to be a pretty common feature here, which will allow for you to earn some passive income if you're providing liquidity. So it states here, users will be able to see their estimated APY given the current TVL in a given liquidity pool. Now, this will change as more liquidity comes in and out of the pool. Again, this platform has been live on the mainnet for about 8 hours so far. And initially, when I first reviewed it, they had about 50,000 ADA in terms of TVL, given the fact that they were brand new, which is completely understood. Since then, they now have over 500,000 ADA in terms of TVL, which is about $200,000 US in terms of TVL. So I'm sure that that's going to continue to grow, especially given the fact that we see platforms like MinSwap with over 18 or $19 million US in terms of TVL. So while the VyFi team has a lot of way to go or a lot of ground to gain, keep in mind that because there's not as much liquidity there will be more opportunities in terms of APY or returns for those early liquidity providers who also farm their assets. Now, on May 29th, farms will start yielding rewards and users will be able to deposit their liquidity on launch in preparation for the launch of the farm. So if you want to go ahead and provide liquidity, you can go ahead and do that in preparation for the farms, which will be launching on the 29th. So it looks like up until the 29th, there won't be any rewards going out just yet. But after the 29th, you'll start earning rewards. The very last item I want to touch on is going to be the VyFi vaults. If you're not familiar with the vaults, they're going to be a way to stake your assets. As of the launch of this platform, we now have a VyFi/VyFi vault, which will allow for you to stake VyFi in order to earn VyFi. Now, there's a 16% or so APY, and once this particular vault is complete, they're going to be opening up an additional VyFi for VyFi vault with an APY of about 8%. Now, this vault will provide over 200,000 VyFi in terms of rewards. Now that we better understand all the features coming to the brand new VyFi Dapp, let's jump into the actual application itself and check it out for our own. So we can head over to app.vyfi.io in order to get access to it. And on the left-hand side there, we've got access to the home page, which is where we're currently at. We've got access to the DEX, the bar, the vaults, and their lottery, as well as their governance platform. Now, diving into the home page here, at the top left-hand corner, we've got the TVL, which is sitting over $500,000 ADA right now. And we've got a 7-day trading volume of 160,000 ADA. Now, given the fact that this DEX just launched, I would expect that these two values would match. So I'll be keeping an eye out on that. As I mentioned earlier, the farms will not begin until May 29th. And once they do, there's going to be a, I believe, 1-day rolling rewards claim period. So as you begin to provide liquidity or you provide into the farms, you'll be able to claim your rewards at least once per day. Scrolling down, we can see that the biggest liquidity pool right now on the DEX is going to be for the ADA/VyFi trading pair. And we can also see by this icon here that this particular pool does have a farm. We've got the price, the TVL, the 24-hour trading volume, and then the APR that you can currently earn. Now, these APRs are quite staggering, but again, keep in mind that these will begin to lower as we get more liquidity into these pools. So again, this is to incentivize liquidity providers to come into the space. Once they do, those APRs will begin to drop down. The next biggest pool is going to be for ADA x VyFi, which again will give you access to the bar, and that will be a reward distribution or a revenue sharing platform. Next, we've got VyFi x VyFi. We've got ADA/AADA, and then ADA/World Mobile. Now we've got a lot of these blue chip tokens here, which include JED, MELD, Genius Yield, AGIX, Milk, and FLAC. And as they mentioned before in that article, you will be able to open up your own liquidity pools here, which again will make this permissionless and fully decentralized. If I jump into the actual DEX, we've got a pretty simple swap screen here. We've got a market buy, and we've also got a limit buy screen here. So if you want to purchase at the market price, that's basically going to fulfill your order the quickest, but you may not get the best price. Whereas a limit order will allow for you to get the specific price that you want, but it may not necessarily happen right away. Now you can quickly select what token that you want to use to purchase and what you want to swap that for, So if I click on this drop down here, we can select between ADA, Indy, CBLP, and all these other tokens here. And then they've got some quick access tokens here, which obviously include VyFi and XVyFi. I can quickly select which token I want to purchase, again, by using this drop down here. Pretty standard in terms of DEX utility. If I click on this cog icon, we've got the slippage. So again, this is going to basically allow for you to dictate how tight of a swap you want and exactly how much slippage you can tolerate in terms of price difference. You can also turn on or off the sound. Again, pretty common features. If I click on connect my wallet, let's see what wallets we got access to. So we've got access to Nami, Eternal, Jira Wallet, and the Flint wallet. Now I assume that we'll also see upcoming support for Lace, as well as Yoroi and a few other big name brands, which include Typhon, etc. Next, let's jump into the bar very quickly here. Again, we can see the APY for the bar. So you're going to be earning about 2.14% if you hold the XVyFi token. And right now there seems to be a total TVL of about 1.61 million of the XVyFi tokens, which equals about 1.65 million of the traditional VyFi tokens. If you want to connect to the bar, again, you can use this icon here, and you can connect either of the 4 wallets that we touched on not too long ago. The very last thing I want to do is jump into the vaults here. As we can see, we got some pretty standard options here at the very top, which allow us to select whether or not these are going to be showing vaults that we're currently staked to, or ones that are currently open. And then we can select between NFT vaults, regular token vaults, and then we've also got liquidity pool vaults. So this was the VyFi for VyFi liquidity vault that I was talking about earlier, which is offering about 16% right now in terms of APY. If we expand the details here, we can see exactly how much VyFi will be paid out within the entire duration of this particular vault, which right now sits at about 500,000 VyFi tokens. And then there's going to be a minor 2.5 ADA harvesting fee when you actually claim your VyFi tokens. If you want to confirm the token policy, or the actual token that you're going to be earning, or the project that you're staking for in terms of the vault, you can do that using any of these 3 links. Again, just an introductory look here at exactly what the VyFi platform is bringing into Cardano. I urge you guys to check it out for yourselves. Huge shout out and congratulations to Stephen Ward and his team for building and delivering for the Cardano community. I know that the past few months have been extremely busy for the team, and they've all been working incredibly hard for over the last year and a half in order to be able to deliver on the mainnet. So I'm sure that they're away celebrating right now, like they definitely deserve to be doing so. But in closing of today's video, if you guys found any of this here to be helpful or insightful, I would really appreciate it if you guys could tap that like button. If it's your first time stopping by and you want more content just like this, consider subscribing. And if you have any questions for me surrounding Cardano or VyFi, then make sure to leave those down in the comment section below. That said, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video.